You want to build a website, so you've decided you want to get into web development. Maybe you've got a great idea for a new app, or you want to build a personal portfolio, or maybe you're just curious about how the websites you use every single day are actually put together. It can seem like a pretty daunting world to jump into, with all these different languages and frameworks and tools that everyone talks about. It's easy to get lost before you even start, trying to figure out where to even begin. But that's exactly why I'm making this video. My goal here is pretty simple: to give you a clean, straightforward look at the most popular programming languages used for building the web today. We're going to break down what each one is good at, what it's typically used for, and how they all fit together in the grand scheme of things. Think of this as your roadmap. We'll be looking at everything from the absolute fundamentals that every single web page relies on, to the more powerful back-end languages that run complex web applications behind the scenes. By the end of this video, you should have a much clearer picture of the web development landscape. More importantly, you'll have a better sense of which language might be the right starting point for you and your specific goals. There's no single best language, but there is a best language to help you build what you want to build. So let's get into it. This is your guide to programming languages for web development. Alright, so first up, let's talk about the absolute bedrock of any website you've ever visited. I'm talking about HTML and CSS. Now, technically, some people will argue they aren't programming languages in the strictest sense because they don't have logic, but honestly, that's just semantics. You cannot build for the web without them, period. Think of it like building a house. HTML, or hypertext markup language, is the frame. It's the studs, the beams, the foundation. It gives the entire structure its shape and defines what each part is. This paragraph is a paragraph, this image is an image, this heading is a heading. It's the skeleton of the web page. Without HTML, you just have a blank white page. It's what your browser reads first to understand the content and how it's organized. But a skeleton by itself is, well, not very pretty. That's where CSS comes in. CSS, or cascading style sheets, is the paint, the furniture, the lighting, the interior design. It takes that raw HTML structure and makes it look good. It controls the colors, the fonts, the spacing, the layout, and even the animations. When you see a beautifully designed website with a clean layout and nice colors, you're seeing the work of CSS. So, HTML and CSS work hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other in modern web development. HTML provides the meaning and the structure, and CSS provides the style and presentation. Every single person starting in web development has to start here. There's no skipping this step. They are the fundamental building blocks, and mastering them is your first major step towards being able to create anything you can imagine on the web. They are the price of admission, and thankfully, they're also the most straightforward to learn. Okay, so you've got your structure with HTML and you've made it look good with CSS. Your website is static, it just sits there. But what about making things happen? What about pop-up menus, interactive maps, or forms that give you feedback instantly? That's where JavaScript comes in, and this is where we get into what most people would agree is a real programming language. If HTML is the skeleton and CSS is the skin, then JavaScript is the nervous system. It's what brings the website to life and allows it to do things. It's the language of the browser. For a long time, JavaScript was purely a front-end language. That means it ran directly in the user's web browser to manipulate the HTML and CSS on the page in real time. You click a button and a menu appears. That's JavaScript. You submit a form and it tells you there's an error without the page reloading. That's JavaScript. It's responsible for basically all the dynamic, interactive elements that make modern websites feel less like digital paper and more like actual applications. It is incredibly powerful for creating a smooth and responsive user experience. But the story of JavaScript doesn't end there. With the invention of technologies like Node.js, JavaScript broke out of the browser and can now be used on the server side as well. This is a huge deal. It means you can use one single language to build both the front end that users see and the back end that powers it. This full-stack capability has made JavaScript one of the most popular and in-demand languages on the planet. For many developers, its versatility is unmatched, making it a critical language to learn for almost any web development path. Now let's shift our focus from what the user sees to what happens behind the curtain. Let's talk about the back end. And one of the biggest players in that space right now is Python. You've probably heard of Python. It's famous for its super clean, readable syntax that almost looks like plain English. This makes it one of the most recommended languages for beginners to programming in general, not just web development. But its simplicity is deceptive. Python is incredibly powerful and versatile, and it has become a top-tier choice for building the server-side logic of web applications. When we talk about Python for web development, we're almost always talking about it in conjunction with a framework. The two biggest ones are Django and Flask. A framework basically gives you a set of tools and a structure to build your application more quickly and reliably. Django is the batteries included option. It's a massive, powerful framework that gives you everything you need right out of the box, like an admin panel, database connection tools, and a security system. It's built for big, complex, data-driven websites. Think of sites like Instagram, Spotify, and Pinterest. They were all built with Django. On the other end of the spectrum, you have Flask. Flask is a micro framework, which means it's much more lightweight and flexible. It gives you the absolute basics and then lets you decide which tools and libraries you want to add on. This is great for smaller projects or for developers who want more control over the components they use. The main takeaway here is that Python's rise in web development is all about efficiency and power. It's used by major companies for a reason. It allows developers to build robust, scalable applications quickly, and its massive ecosystem of libraries for things like data science and machine learning makes it a future-proof skill to have. So, you can't have a conversation about web development without talking about the OG of server-side scripting, PHP. Now, PHP sometimes gets a bad rap in certain developer circles, but let's be clear about something. PHP runs a massive portion of the internet. It's a bit of an unsung hero. If you've ever used WordPress, you've used a system built almost entirely on PHP. And considering WordPress powers over 40% of all websites on the internet, that alone makes PHP one of the most important languages in the world. It is, without a doubt, an industry giant. PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor, and it was designed from the ground up specifically for the web. Its main purpose is to be embedded within HTML. You can literally just write PHP code right inside your HTML file. And when a user visits the page, the server processes the PHP code, interacts with a database if needed, and then sends back a plain HTML page to the user's browser. This made it incredibly easy to get started with creating dynamic websites, which is a big reason why it became so popular in the first place. Today, modern PHP, with frameworks like Laravel and Symfony, is a very different beast from its early versions. It's faster, more secure, and has all the features you'd expect from a modern programming language. It's used to power not just WordPress but also other massive platforms like Facebook and Wikipedia. So while it might not be the new hot language on the block, its deep roots, massive community, and the sheer number of jobs and websites that rely on it mean that learning PHP is still an incredibly practical and valuable skill for any aspiring web developer. And finally, let's talk about Ruby. Ruby is a language that, much like Python, is known for being elegant, programmer-friendly, and focused on making developers happy and productive. It has a beautiful, readable syntax that makes writing code feel very natural. But when people talk about Ruby in the context of web development, they are almost always talking about its killer app, its most famous framework, Ruby on Rails. In fact, for a long time, the two were so intertwined that people would just say Rails when they meant building a web app with Ruby. Ruby on Rails, often just called Rails, pioneered a lot of the concepts that are now common in other web frameworks, like Django. It's built around conventions and principles like convention over configuration and don't repeat yourself or dry. What this means in practice is that Rails makes a lot of smart assumptions for you. It provides a standard, conventional way of doing things, which allows developers to skip a lot of the tedious setup and configuration and just get straight to building the actual features of their application. This philosophy made it famous for incredibly rapid development. Some of the most well-known web applications got their start on Rails because of this speed. Think of sites like GitHub, Airbnb, Shopify, and the original version of Twitter. They were all able to build and launch their complex platforms very quickly using the Rails framework. While its hype has cooled a bit from its peak in the mid-2000s, Rails is still a very mature, stable, and powerful framework with a passionate community. For developers who value speed, convention, and a philosophy that prioritizes developer happiness, learning Ruby on Rails is an excellent choice for building complex web applications. So that's a quick tour of the major players in the web development world. We've covered the foundational HTML and CSS, the interactive magic of JavaScript, the back-end power of Python, the ubiquity of PHP, and the rapid development of Ruby on Rails. As you can see, each language has its own history, its own strengths, and its own philosophy. There's no single right answer, and often the best language is simply the one that clicks with you and empowers you to build the thing you want to build. The next step is up to you. The key is not to get stuck in analysis paralysis trying to pick the perfect language for the next 10 years. The key is to just start. Pick one that sounds interesting, find a good tutorial, and start building something small. A simple personal page, a to-do list app, it doesn't matter. The experience you gain by actually writing code and solving problems will be far more valuable than weeks of reading articles. The web development community is huge and incredibly supportive, so don't be afraid to dive in. I'm genuinely curious to see where you all go from here. So, drop a comment down below and let me know which language you're thinking of starting with, or if there's one you'd like me to do a deeper dive on in a future video. Your feedback is super helpful. And of course, if you found this guide useful and want more beginner-friendly tech breakdowns like this one, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.